Welcome back to Sussex Farms with Seasons for episode 17 with me, MrSealyp. Right then, it's 1:05 in the afternoon. The baling contract from the previous episode, bales are tucked away nice and safely. I would just like to point out at this point, I always say that, point out this, anyway, at this point, mention the last episode of doing that silage bale contract. I wasn't in any way saying that it doesn't work on any other maps, because I'm doing this as a let's play, and I've had a lot of people message me and comment saying they can't get the silage bale contracts to work. A lot of people have said on Seasons, and a lot of people have said on Sussex Farm. That's why I was doing it on here. I'm in no way saying it doesn't work on all maps. Apparently it is map specific, that you can actually take grass bales that you've just wrapped that aren't fermented yet and fulfill contracts on some maps. Not all maps, but on some maps you can. This one you can't. Sorry, I wasn't saying that you couldn't on any maps, so just please don't take that as a complete blanket, it won't work anywhere kind of dealio. Our hay is not quite there yet. It will be soon. We're still waiting on that. But at the end of the last episode I did say we need a cornfield. There's no corn in the ground anywhere on the map. We need to buy a field. I was saving up to buy a harvester, but I think this first season we're going to have to lease a harvester. I've just got to take that on the chin and say we'll lease a harvester for this season. Fields aren't ready to harvest yet still, and that's just going to be something we're going to have to do. We need to buy a field because I want to try at least as we get into year 2 to be more self-sufficient, because I've been buying crops and I've been buying feed and I've been, I want to get to a point where I have got the resources to make my own total mix ration, to sort out my feed for my animals myself. That's where I want to be at by year 2. It may take longer than that, but that's the plan. So as it stands at the moment, I've been looking around. Field 35 is just over there. I'm looking at ones that don't need lime and don't need ploughing as well, because that's going to save me some time and a load of grief, because I don't need to be worrying about doing that. But field 13's over here. That's not a bad size actually. So that one is going for 167,000. So I think, you know what we have to do? Let's just bite the bullet on that and say yes, we'll do it. Now that has got a crop in it already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the class. We're going to grab our cultivator. Now I'm pretty sure I could just direct drill straight over the top of that, but I'm going to cultivate it in just as a matter of course. We will plant. That's a point. We're going to need to get a planter, aren't we? Kind of ironic really that I've just spent the last episode on Geiselsberg planting corn everywhere. What I need to do is give myself a contract on Geiselsberg where I supply corn to Sussex Farm here. That would be a great idea, because I need it. I need the corn. Maybe if I've got any surplus I could get some shipped over, but we shall see. Just typical, isn't it? I try not to have, if I'm running 2 Let's Plays, I don't want to be doing the same thing on both, and sometimes it just happens as the kind of contracts and jobs roll around. You often get 2 episodes that you're doing similar things, but at the end of the day it needs to be done. So here we are. It has got a crop in it, but I need the field. And away we go. Awesome. Now, this video is probably going to be scheduled to post on Saturday. As I've mentioned on, I think it was on the Geiselsberg episode, or was it on the previous episode of this, I'm off to Farm Simulator League in Leipzig for the DreamHack esports gaming show convention. So yeah, I'm not back till Monday, but late-ish Monday, so potentially there won't be a video until, typically that was going to happen, until maybe Tuesday. I don't know, we'll see. I'll do the best I can. So I've been trying to back up and rack up videos, but it's not always as straightforward as that. as I've mentioned before, life has a tendency of getting in the way. Best laid plans and all of that. So what should have happened, hopefully, if we have a look on here now. No, oh, I've got it turned off. Haha! I panicked for a minute then. Oh right, oh that's handy. So there is a fertilising state on it already. With what we've just cultivated in, that'll give us a second, which means when we seed or plant, I should be able to then put a third on straight away. Now the thing about this is the window, the corn window. We're at the right temperature, but we need to get it done now. I did think about skipping through to midsummer for the next part and hopefully start our harvesting, but according to this, if we go across the next one where it says the 2 at the top in the summer, we're not in the harvesting season apparently, which is a bit annoying. The frustrating thing about that being that these are winter crops, so theoretically the crops I'm going to be harvesting have been in since last autumn. I hope I haven't got to wait. Well, it probably will be late summer now, but anyway, regardless of that, this still needs to get done. So let's say at least I'll have 2 fertilising states. What I need to do now is sort out a planter. I've been using various different ones in different Let's Plays now, because I'm not likely to buy one. I'm going to need one after the harvest is done if I'm going to replant and reseed. We have the seed already, but we don't actually have a planter. But that's only going to be if I'm going to do cotton or corn, so I don't know whether or not we'll just keep the seed that we've got, and if we are going to plant anything, then we'll hire a planter when we need it. What do you reckon? Does that seem a bit excessive having 2? I know most people you'll run 2, or you'll run one that does both, you know. If we look into our menus now, obviously you've got your seeders, which will do your seed, which will do your main seed types, generally speaking, and grass and oilseed radish. And then you've got your planters. Sorry, I'm not teaching granite suck eggs. You know, a lot of you will already know this, but there might be new people that don't. But your planters will do your, what I always do in inverted commas, your other crop types. So your corn, your sunflower, I suppose you're going to do sunflower, soybean, sugar beet, and cotton will require a planter. But there are some, like these 2, the Great Plains YP2425 and the modded YP4025, which is a slightly smaller one, which does all crop types, which makes that a really, really handy bit of kit. You know, that one out 18.2 metres for 142 grand. It's brilliant. But this one, the modded one, I've used a few times now because that's a direct drill as well, which you don't normally get a planter being a direct drill. Excuse me. That makes that kind of worth its weight in gold, really. Got the Horse Maestro SW2475. Haven't used that. That's an 18 metre one. But again, when you start looking at cost and you start looking at what the planter will do, that will do your normal planting crops. It's 18 metres, which is fantastic, which is kind of what you're looking for, 169 grand. Or you've got the Great Plains YP2425, which is 18.2 metres, and it does all crop types. So then you start asking yourself, well, I can have that does everything. I don't need 2 seeders or planters at that point. Whereas if I get that, I need a separate seeder. So I don't know. It will come down to cost. It will come down to choice, preference, all those kind of things. Yeah. Okay, so this will be ready to go. I can start planting this straight away, and hopefully this will be enough corn to keep me going. Like I say, I've got some fields with barley, some fields with wheat. I think I've got one field with canola. I'm thinking of my pig food longer term. As far as my cows go, I've got TMR that I bought, but I do want to make my own, so we're going to get to the point we can do that. Hopefully some point today the grass that we cut will turn to hay, because then we're going to need to windrow that. Actually, I could probably do buying a windrower, or should I lease one of those as well? Probably lease. Again, you start looking at objects. I've always been in the habit of buying everything. Just, you know, workers seem to struggle with this cultivator a little bit when you get to ends of fields. It was always a case of, you know, buy everything you need, you know, get everything, buy everything. But then you start looking at it, especially when you run in seasons, there are items which become seasonal that for the rest of the year will just sit there, you're not going to use. Whereas on the base game, because you can turn crops and turn fields very, very quickly, you're using these items more and more and more. But I suppose when you're running seasons, it does get to that point you think, how often am I going to use it? Is there any point in me buying it? A windrower, how often am I going to be windrowing stuff? I don't know. So many decisions. I've just swapped over the tractors and put the Lamborghini on the cultivating. I've just brought the class up to the store to lease a planter, and suddenly remembered I had wool pallets that I hadn't sold. The best price at the moment now is at the spinnery. For some reason I kept saying about going up to the airport and doing a helicopter ride because that's where the spinnery was. There are a couple of wool pallets I think up in one of the hangars, and that's why in my head I had it that's where the spinnery was. Of course it's not, the spinnery's here in the little town, isn't it, the village. So what we'll do is we'll take straps off, swing round into there. We're not going to make mega money on it, but added to what we made last time, I'm just thinking actually whether these will go through here alright. Yeah, it should be alright. Those ones will. Let's try and get that one in if I can. It's going to be a little bit harder, isn't it? Oh, come on. It's a little bit tighter. There we go. Fantastic. Right. So that's the wall sorted. Until next season. God, it's tight in here, isn't it? Fantastic, so we're going to sort the planter out. What else do I need to do? Oh yeah, I need to feed the pigs. I just suddenly remembered as well that if we go across, the animals are all looking okay. Sheep are okay, cleanliness could do a bit of sorting out, but it's not horrendous. But the pig enclosure, I did the water, did the straw, and completely forgot about their feed, so I need to get them sorted out. So I need to do that in a little while as well, and then we'll be good to move through, but I do need to get sorted. The money is dropping. That is the other thing I think as well. You find with seasons, it does kind of, it forces you into a position where you do start looking at doing contracts, you do start doing transport jobs, you do, because your money's going out of your account all the way through until harvest, and then in harvest, around harvest time, or when you've got sheep in the spring, or whatever it is you're running, until you're getting things that are giving you payouts, you're just hemorrhaging cash all the time. So you need to start replenishing that at some point in some way, and I think, you know, contract work and transport jobs then become the thing you need to do, because there's not really any other way of doing it. You know, you can do silage bales, you can do stuff like that, which again, that's absolutely fine. If you're not a person that does livestock, you are reliant on harvest. Okay, we're back up at the store. I'm still in a real... I don't want to kind of always fall back on kind of old favourites, but you're looking at cost as well. If you're going to lease, the YP2425A requires 280 horsepower. We've got 295 with the class, which should be alright. That one's 7,242 to lease, and then obviously I could go smaller and just take a little bit longer doing it. It would be less to pay out. 5,202. If we go for the Maestro SW2475, that we're looking at 8,619 to lease. It's a big chunk of money just for the amount of time we're going to be doing it for. But I can pick up a contract, a transport job, something like that, and I can cover that cost no problem at all. So, you know what? Let's do it. Plus, I'm going to need seed, so I think we'll go with probably big bags. I think they still work out a better option at the moment. No, actually, they don't do it. I've had this conversation over and over again, haven't I? They're much of a muchness, aren't they, really? Yeah, let's go with one. Will that be enough? Oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever I've got spare, I can always put into the silo to store. So, right, more planting. I suppose the question to ask is, with what I've just done with the field, am I wasting a crop? By cultivating in that crop, it's a crop I could have let go to harvest, but then I would have missed my opportunity to plant corn, and I would have had to go another year without being able to do it. So, no, I don't think I am. I suppose it's that trade-off, you know. What I would have gained from that crop had I let it go to harvest, I needed it. I need to do corn. That's just it. There's no more to it than that. I need to do corn. That's a big old brute. I think I saw one of these at Agritechnica. I'm trying to remember now from my vlogs that I did. There was some big old horse machinery, I tell you, and the Grimmer stuff, and I mean, all of it was just wow. So hopefully the cultivating is continuing. Fingers crossed. And then what I'll do is before I finish the episode, we'll get the pigs fed, and then I think it'll be a case of, unless I pick up some more contracts, transport jobs. It's a good point actually. Are there any available? Let's just see what is available. Transport there. Oh, SUSSEX. Transport items from SUSSEX to transport company. Cool. Fertilising. Field 21. 11,000. Transporting job there for 12. Well, there's a few. I can pick up some of these. So like I say, covering the cost of what I've just done. Where is Field 21? Why is that so expensive? Why is that so much money? Ah, that one down there. Well, I've got options. I've got options. Now, I could be seeding and fertilising at the same time here, but I think because the ground state has just been changed, I don't know whether it will, because I've just given it a fertilising state by cultivating in what I've just done. I'd rather just plant and then I'll come back and fertilise again later. It shouldn't take too long with this either. 18 metres. This isn't too hilly. I think had we been on a little bit of ground which was more hilly, this tractor might well have struggled. It might still struggle actually. This suddenly seems very, very big for the size of tractor, doesn't it? Oh well, all we can do is see. We are putting corn in, that's good. So I'm hoping that's because there was a tree to the side and not because it can't. There we go, we're up. Oh, hang on. No, it doesn't like the tree. Right. Little Lamborghini doing its thing over there. This is actually a much bigger field than I thought. You look on the map and it doesn't seem too big, but now I'm on it, and when I was doing the cultivating earlier, you look across and think, actually, you know what? It's a fair old size, isn't it? Yeah, I bought more seed than I needed to fill up this planter, but if we do run out, I don't think we are going to run out to do this field. I'll go and grab it. If not, I'll whiz up in the trailer, grab it, and we'll put it into storage, because we'll always need it. Right, worker on it. It's got the worker cracking away. We shouldn't catch up with the cultivator. I'm hoping, I know this is much wider, but hopefully the cultivating should be complete by the time we get over there. Yeah. Cultivating is going okay, but I think we've missed a couple of bits which I want to try and get to before the seeder. I don't think I'm going to make it, am I? I think the seeder's turning around now. It's just about to go over a bit. Yep. Planter. Regardless. Yeah, just left one little bit there. Oh, it's not the end of the world. How did that not flatten that? I'll have one lone sunflower sticking out. Call it the sunflower field or something. Right, one strip left. I left row crops on this. I was going to change them over and put standard tyres back on, but I thought I'll just get on with it. Like I say, it's not going to take very long at all. And on the scheme of things, £8 for, you know, not even half an hour's work. I mean, obviously, in the real world it would take far longer to do a field this size, and obviously the time thing, I could speed up time a little bit, so it would have taken more time. But like I said earlier, it doesn't matter. I know I can pick up a contract, I can do any of the fertilising jobs, I can pick up a transport job, and I've covered the cost of the lease of that planter, so it really isn't too much of an issue. Supplementing my income. That's what I'm doing. Right. That's done. So we'll leave that to carry on. It's over halfway. I could probably come back with the Scaraflex actually and just run over it with the Scaraflex to give myself the last fertilising option. I'll try that later on, but I think what we'll do is we'll head back to the farm. We'll sort out feeding the pigs if they need doing, maybe a bit of cleaning out here and there. Actually, yeah, when we get there, we'll have a look into the animal menu. I think some of my animals are not getting ready to have new births, but on the way. We've got some animals saying next animal in, and they're not far off, maybe a month or two. Again, it's that seasons thing. Once the hay's ready, provided it doesn't rain, fingers crossed, will I get another growth out of it? That's, you know. And sometimes when I'm saying things like that, it's a rhetorical question. It's that kind of, it's just talking about it while you're doing it. Yes, I can go and look online and I can find out all the specs, all the information, I can check the files, and I can say to you specifically, this will happen, this at this point, this will happen when, you will definitely get, but you know, the whole point about this is just a bit of chat, a bit of, you know, I wonder. Otherwise you kind of lose the fun and the excitement of doing the farming in the first place, don't you? There's an element of it of, I wonder, will this work this time? Will it work that time? What if I do this? What if I do that? If I just go and analyse all the files, and it's like, kind of takes the kick out of the farming bit, doesn't it? I don't know. Right, I'm going to grab the Scaraflex, ready to take over. But while we're here, I already bought the wheel loader over to the silo, because I did the bedding with the bucket. I thought it's easier than grabbing a trailer and doing it with a trailer. Can I get up under there? Oh, just right. And I brought it back over and then completely forgot. That's why I suddenly thought I need to sort out the pig food. So we'll do corn first. Bear and Papa, actually from Papa Farms, did send me a picture. I'll show you when I go there, which was brilliant. If you're going to use pig food pallets, and there are all loads of different ways people have shown me of doing. We'll go. Like that, fantastic. You can use, there's various different auger trailers, not auger wagons as such, so you can put feed in. You can tip them up so they're leaning over the feed trigger, and they will unload as you go along. Bear and Papa sent me a picture of a pig food pallet, and the pig food pallet was in here, but not sat flat on the floor. If you sit the pallet flat on the floor, nothing will happen. But if you sit the pallet so one side of it is propped up on the edge of the trough here, and the other bit is down on the ground, you've got a gap underneath it. When it needs more feed, the pig food pallet drains into the trigger. Such a simple solution, but it works brilliantly. Such a clever idea. So what we'll do is we'll go over there. We'll high tip. Oh, come on. That's the only trouble doing it from a bucket. It doesn't stop filling. I think I would have learnt by now, wouldn't you? But there we go. Right, that took hardly anything. I think the corn we bought, in that initial one, we bought how many? 9,849 litres, didn't we? Something like that. That's weird. How come we got so much in storage then? Oh no, we bought 21,000 litres. It cost 9,804. I'm looking at my numbers thinking, huh? That's weird. Yeah, I mean that's going to last us quite a while until they start actually giving birth. Oh, that's what we're going to look at, weren't we? Of course we were. Yeah, the births 0.3, 0.2. So yeah, 2 months now. We've got some of them are going to give birth in 2 months. Our cows, I don't. Yeah, 0.7, 0.6. So we have got some that look like they're going to be giving birth at some point, and our sheep, I don't think any of them are looking at birthing. No. Oh, lummy. Oh well. So that's the corn done. Like I say, you can do it with the trailer. It doesn't really matter. I suppose doing it with the trailer, then you won't get that overspill like I just had, but it'll just take what it needs. When you think this bucket is the size of some of the small trailers, it's just kind of thought, well, why not? Turned into a bit of an overcast grey day, really. Canola. We're not going to need all of that. It's just a little bit of canola. Yeah, it's not as sunny as I thought. Bear in mind it's early summer, but then I suppose that's England for you, isn't it? That'll do. Then wheat and barley. And that'll be the pig sorted. Brilliant. There we go. So, pigs are now fed. Happy pigs. Manure 3,182 litres. Cows have done 38,000 litres of manure. Okay. So I suppose when I said earlier on about income, if you want to be going and taking your manure and selling it at the biogas plant, you can do that as they're constantly producing it, so that is a kind of source of income should you need it. Right, take this back over to the feed trough area just in case. And let's check on this planting. Field done. Field 13 is now planted with corn. Only 401 litres left. What I'll do is I'll take that over to the... actually no, I might as well take the planter back. I'll unload it up with other pallets and then I'll come up with the trailer, collect it and we'll put it into storage at a later date. Well, that's a weight off my mind, because I've been thinking about the whole corn situation, and like I say, I could have just gone and bought some more, but I want to be under my own steam. That's definitely nowhere near as bumpy as it used to be up here. I mean, it's bumpy and it's steep. But not as bad as it used to be. Fantastic. Another job ticked off the list. We'll put it that side, wouldn't it? Okay, that's unloaded. Let's disconnect that. How much is it to lease a really small trailer? It's not in that menu. $408. That's just me being incredibly lazy. I've got a trailer already, but I'm just thinking while I'm up here, I could just lease a trailer, couldn't I? That's the cheapest one, isn't it? I don't think we've got any cheap ones, have we? That's how far I've sunk. Oh no, that's more expensive. Oh, blimey. No, I'll come back and get... That's just ridiculously lazy. Where's the sun gone? I just came back to grab the trailer with the class and thought I'll get out there with the Scaraflex, I'll get cracking with that, and suddenly remembered we've just planted. Now, again, advice is divided on this, but I have now planted, so I need to get some herbicide on. I completely forgot about the herbicide. I want to get that done now because I'll be able to see where it's going down on the ground. Whereas if I do the Scaraflex, if that works, it gives me another fertilising state, and then I decide to go over with the herbicide, I won't be able to see where I've been. I suppose the same is true of the Scaraflex, but I can wait until the next growth stage with the Scaraflex and it should all be okay, but I want to get the herbicide done. That way, weeds be gone. I haven't had too much trouble, I'll be honest, on the fields that we bought, and then I went over and we did kind of spray them and they seem to be alright. I've had a couple of little patches here and there, but nothing major. Saying that I haven't checked it for a while actually. Let's check, shall we? You watch me having said that. How are we looking? Still that tiny little patch up there. Field 6 is looking okay. Yeah, they're alright. There's a few little bits knocking around. That one that's horrendous, field 41. Field 24. Yeah, there are some patches about, but our fields are looking okay at the moment, so whether it's something we're doing or whether it's something else, I don't know. It should be what I've done. It's farming, Jim, but not as we know it. Device says workers completed their task. Right, so like I say, with the fact I've just planted and we've got the change of ground state, I can now see where I'm putting this down. So it just makes more sense to do it like this. We'll spray now and we'll see how we go with this one, whether we get any weeds come through. This is the tricky one. If we get a cold snap in early autumn, if something drastic should happen, we could lose the crop, we could lose patches of the crop, it could not be ready to harvest in time. If it doesn't, the winter will kill it off. So because we are planting this fairly late in the window, when I say fairly late I mean very late in the window, we are risking harvesting in early winter. That could be devastating. So yeah, it is what it is. I should have thought about it before now. I don't know why. By the time I suddenly thought, oh, corn, it was a little bit late. Right then. Back up to the store. Let's grab this seed. Field is herbicided. Sprayed. So I'll put this into storage. On console, the pallets do take up slots if you have them laying about. So, you know, it's nice to have them stacked up, and it all looks very cool. And but it can eat into your slot count. So I'm just that was another. Thank you, Baron Papa. I said on Geiselsberg, loads of advice. And he's fantastic with advice. So we'll go across this way today, or this time. Yeah, and it's that kind of you unload stuff and it sits there in pallets, and you think, oh yeah, that's great. But anything you buy like that, it will use up slots on your console. I'm not having to worry on this one because I've got plenty of slots available. I think it's only if you're getting up to, like on Geiselsberg, you start very high. And it didn't matter what I did, you know, I'm running close to the limit on that all the time now. Another reason why, if you want to do a map where you want to be able to use loads of different equipment, then lease. You know, at the end of the day, you don't have to own everything. You can still play on the maps that have got high slot counts. You just don't own everything. You know, have a main tractor or a couple of tractors. Possibly a couple of bits of equipment you know you're going to use all the time, but other stuff just lease it in when you need it. That way you can have a play around with some of the more expensive stuff or larger stuff or whatever it might be. You just don't need to own it all the time, I think, is the other way of looking at it. But because there are some cracking maps out there at the moment. Right, now because I changed this from a trailer to an auger, just thinking. That would be the wrong side, wouldn't it? Yep, I need to turn round. Right, just a minute. Assuming, of course, it works, it should do. I know I've had this problem before. There we go. Fantastic. Pipe away. Job done. That wasn't so bad. Now, do I really want to reverse across the entire yard? Probably not, but I might have to swing around and reverse into the space again anyway, so might as well. And with that, I think I got the cornfield done, which was what I intended. I wanted to make sure the pigs were fed. That's done. The wool's been sold. That was another job I wanted to tick off the list. Those have all been done. To cover the cost of leasing the planter that we just used, I have just taken on a transport contract at SUSSEX down to the transport company. So what I will do, I will love you and leave you. I'll load this up and I'll head off to get on with that. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.